So full disclosure, I'm not filming this at the end of the game. I'm filming it at halftime because I have a 4 a.m. shift tomorrow. And I'm not staying up to watch the rest of this. I like watching good football. This is a god-awful. I mean, the Steelers are absolutely flat. There's so much to talk about here. It's all negative. And it's such a disappointment because just when they think they might climb back into the playoff picture, with a huge win against Baltimore, at home, at Heinz Field, electric win. Just 2 weeks before that, a really good effort game against the Chargers. They almost won. Bouncing back off a terrible game against the Lions. And now here we have another game where it's just god-awful. There's no effort. There's no heart. Everyone's on the sidelines, has no energy. There's nothing going on over there. They've already lost this game. Now, if they come back and win it, I'll look like a fool. But I'll be glad anyways because we would have won the game. But I would bet against that at this point, considering everything we've seen so far tonight from this team, and even from this entire year. I mean, they have had some decent comebacks, don't get me wrong. But you tie the Lions, and now you're going to lose badly to a team that lost to the Lions. A team that doesn't have Adam Thielen. A team that has Dalvin Cook with a shoulder injury. I mean, it's just... I understand Pittsburgh still doesn't have Joe Hayden. They still don't have a bunch of players, or a bunch of inactives. TJ Watt's missing most of this game with a groin injury. And at this point, why even play him? He's probably not going to play the rest of the game because it's such a big deficit that we're not going to climb back into it most likely. And that, those aren't excuses. It should not be 23-0. Correctly, it should be 30-0 right now. Justin Jefferson dropped a touchdown catch earlier in this game. Now, granted, it would have been a very good touchdown catch. It would have been very difficult to make that. But we've seen him make tougher ones before. And we've seen other receivers make that catch before. So he almost had a touchdown in double coverage because Minkah Fitzpatrick was slow to rotate over. And if he had caught that, it would have been 30-0. So our mistake. Chris Boswell obviously misses the field goal. But, he's missed, field goal this week. He missed something last week, but it's not the end of the world. Usually he's a very reliable kicker. The 3 points, though, aren't going to make the difference in this game, most likely, considering it's 23-0 right now at halftime. What do I want to talk about? I mean, TJ Watt not being in the game, even when he was in the game, was not exactly dominating. But him not being in the game really kills our chances defensively. Cameron Hayward has not made a huge impact on this game. Largely because he keeps getting double-teamed on the interior because everyone knows he's the only real threat we have in there. Chris Wormley isn't having a bad game, actually, because Cameron Hayward's drawing so much attention to him. But the run defense is god-awful. The run defense is absolutely terrible. I mean, every time they run the ball, it feels like there's 15 yards or 10 yards right up the middle. They get past that initial defensive line, and there's just nothing. And Dalvin Cook, even Alexander Madison has a 14-yard carry. Dalvin Cook is just running through us at will. They have 176 rushing yards at halftime, 2 rushing touchdowns. Dalvin Cook has 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 10.9 yards per carry. He only has a long 30, so it's not like he ripped up a 70-yard run. He has a long of 30. He's averaging 10.9 yards per carry, 153 yards on the night. The run defense is terrible. And that's on the fact that we're missing a lot of guys in the middle. No Tua, no Tyson Alualu again. He's going to be out the rest of the year. I would never expect Tua to return at this point. I think Tua's done for the year. And I've been saying that for weeks. We should never expect Tua to come back this season. The linebacker level, of course, does not add much at all in the run defense. Schobert and Devin Bush have not been helping at all in this game. So, Dalvin Cook's destroying us, and then Justin Jefferson's destroying us. 6 receptions for 67 yards and a touchdown. I already mentioned, though, he had that one drop touchdown catch at the beginning of the game. That would have been like a 30-yard play or something like that. And then Kirk Cousins missed him when he was running wide open in the secondary. What would probably have been at least a 40-yard play. And Kirk Cousins just missed him, overthrew it slightly, and Jefferson couldn't make the catch. Every time it feels like Justin Jefferson's getting into his route, he's got almost 10 yards of separation. He's a defensive back. The corner is so terrified. The corner is playing almost 10 yards off Justin Jefferson, even when he's 10 yards downfield. It tells you what our corners are like without Joe Hayden. and what they're like without Steven Nelson. Wouldn't it be nice to have him around right about now? So yeah, cornerback play has been fairly awful for the most part, especially covering Justin Jefferson. I get it; it's not an easy assignment. It's a hard assignment. He's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. I understand, but giving him 10 yards of separation when he's 15 yards downfield or 10 yards downfield is absolutely unacceptable. Now, granted, I think there was one really nice tackle on him just before halftime where he basically got tackled behind the line of scrimmage because they threw the ball right down the line to him and he got tackled immediately. That was a great play. That's just about the only great play made on Justin Jefferson today so far. It's been bad. Pass protection has not been good either. Ben is 8 for 11, but he's taking a lot of hits. Harrison Smith had a really good sack on him. They actually already have 4 sacks in this game. So, pass protection. And they brought a blitz. Eric Kendricks got home on a blitz where Najee Harris missed the assignment, I believe, in pass protection. So, pass protection not been good. Run blocking also not been good. Najee Harris has 7 carries for 17 yards. That's 2.4 yards per carry. And a long of 9. So, on 1 carry, he got 9 yards. And the other 6 carries, he got a total of 8. Yeah, the run game is awful. And it's been this way all year long. And people are acting like when they drafted Najee Harris, the run game would be fixed. That's not how football works. You need the offensive line first, then the running game, then the running back, and then it will happen. You can run the ball well with a bad running back and a good offensive line. You cannot run the ball well with a good running back and a bad offensive line. Common sense. But nope, everyone was so hyped on the draft that this would fix everything. As for Ben in the passing game, they're averaging 6.2 yards per completion, I believe. That's not the worst it's been all year long. It's not great either, but it's not the worst. It just feels like we're running just a lot of short out routes. We do have a 17-yard pass to Pat Freiermuth, but that happened right before halftime when Minnesota's playing all the way off. Other than that, the longest reception of the day is 15 by Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson, our true wide receiver 1. Speaking of wide receivers, well, let's talk about Chase Claypool a little bit. He killed our first drive of the night with a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, I believe, or was unnecessary roughness, one of the two. He basically killed our drive with a penalty, and he almost fumbled. Harrison Smith had another really good play where he almost forced him to fumble. Claypool, to me, has a ceiling of a 1,000-yard receiver and a 10-touchdown guy. He could be that dude. But he makes so many mistakes. I mean, so much small stuff play to play. And it's just, it drives me insane. I feel like if he was playing with Ben 5 or 6 years ago, it'd be completely different. Or he was like 7 years ago, it'd be really different. He'd be much more productive because he'd be getting downfield more. But at the same time, just this Claypool's play right now and his attitude, and to some extent, it's not working. It's not acceptable. He needs to be more mature. You know, he's one of the guys who routinely makes these kind of mistakes. And he just has not grown up. And he needs to, if he wants to be a part of this team moving forward. And like I said, I'm so shocked that there's no heart in this team right now. For a Mike Tomlin-led team with all these veterans on it, to not have heart, it's just shocking. And they've shown it at points this year. They've shown it against Baltimore. They've shown it against the Chargers. They have heart, but not tonight. And to not have it when your season's potentially on the line, and I get it, you're coming off a huge emotional game against Baltimore. It's a short week. I understand. But to not be able to go out there and have any heart at all is pretty damning. You know, if you lose tonight, your season is most likely over. Even if you beat Tennessee next week, because Tennessee is reeling with injuries. Even if you beat Tennessee, then you finish the year with Kansas City, Cleveland, Baltimore. Even if you go 2-2 in those games, and you lose tonight, you'll go up to 8-1. There's a chance that only 9-7 teams are going to make the playoffs from the AFC. There's a chance they might even be all 10-win teams. So, if you lose tonight, your season's over. And call me crazy, but I'm not expecting a 23-point comeback to just tie it. So, I'm going to bed. I got a morning shift tomorrow. I don't want to watch the rest of this game.